Good morning. This is the webcast, Blaine's World webcast that can be found each week on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You get more information about this show and past shows at my website, which is behind me, blainesworld.net. I'm your host, Blaine Greenfield, and I'm here in my Zoom studio in lovely downtown Fairview, North Carolina. Each week, we focus on cool things that are happening in Western North Carolina and throughout the country. And toward that end, it's my pleasure to introduce Heather Fenton, who's director of an upcoming play that's going to be at Hendersonville Theater, and that is Legally Blonde. And welcome aboard, Heather.
Thank you. Glad to
Okay,
be here.
okay, and you can wave to all your fans and friends who are watching this on Facebook. And I should mention, I should have it in front of me. I don't have it handy, but Heather has been involved in local theater in a variety of capacities since you were, well, when did you start getting involved in theater?
Well, in this area, I grew up in theater, doing theater at church and everything. And then when I made it my life's passion and my job, I've been at Rugby Middle School as the theater teacher there for 25 years. I've been involved at Hendersonville Theater on and off for 20 years. I've done work over at Brevard Little Theater. I love this area. I love the arts that we produce here.
And what I was always so impressed with you, Heather, is the fact that you started, like when you started school teaching, you were like the youngest teacher ever started there. You were like 7, was that it?
Yeah,
You know,
right. Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
I can't believe you started that long ago. It goes quickly. Well, let me ask you before then, as a kid, were you a theater kid?
I actually, well, through church, yes, I did. My family, we always did like the Christmas plays and the Easter plays. And my dad was a big performer. He was actually a magician at Disney World. He was Goofy at Disney World. Yeah. So when they first opened in Florida, and I think I inherited that from him. Definitely not from my mom, but from my dad.
Do you remember your first play?
Yes, I do.
What
I
was it?
was I was 3 or 4 years old. It was a Christmas play that was written by a member of our church, and I had to play the bratty little girl who didn't get the present she wanted and had to pitch a fit on stage. And um after that, I like until we moved here from Florida, until we moved here, I always was picked to play the bratty child. I just
So
typecast.
typecast.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Now, the question I have, I may have asked you this before, but do we have a record of that first performance anywhere?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't think that they recorded it or anything. That was a long time ago.
because I want you to keep in mind, I think I probably told you this before, but I keep asking Hendersonville to do this, any theater. I want this fundraiser. I told you the idea, didn't I?
I
That
don't
everybody would recreate their very first role, you know.
Oh,
So you would have to be the bratty little kid, but wouldn't that be fun though?
that
You
would
know,
be really fun.
especially because you said you don't have a record of it. So wouldn't that be great if you could have a record of it? And I got to think, and everybody I tell it to seems to like the idea, but I have to think that'd be a winning fundraiser. You know, that you get
Yeah.
a chance. Some people would be a tree, some people would be a bratty kid or whatnot,
Right.
but you have to play that again. So I won't put you on the spot and ask you to recreate the role now, but just keep that in mind, and I'll
Okay.
help you with it. So you were acting, the bratty kid was the first role, and you acted throughout school.
Actually, no. When I moved up here to North Carolina, I became very introverted and very shy. I became kind of a math nerd. I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I've always known I wanted to be a teacher, but I really was focused on math. And actually, I went to Edneyville, and we didn't have a theater program at Edneyville. We had dance, and that was definitely not something I was comfortable with. So I never took that. And so it wasn't until college I went to school to be a math major and with the focus of becoming a high school math teacher. And I took like one of my classes, the like elective classes kind of things, I took a theater class because I did love it. Um, and I was like, oh, this will be fun. It was interpretation of literature. And I took this class, and my professor, who I'm still very good friends with today, said, wow, you're really good at this, Heather. You should consider doing this for a living. And I said, oh, that's very kind. That's very nice. But I don't want to be an actress. I want to be a teacher. And she said, well, be a theater teacher. And it was like all the bells and whistles went off, and I changed my major and never looked back.
By the way, let's give a shout out because I really give you credit for mentioning that person. Who was that name of that teacher?
Linda Weldon.
Okay, so Linda, if you're watching this or listening, or Heather will make sure she sends you the clip. That's great. They still remember it. And it's really cool. You still in touch with her?
Yes, I am.
Now, let me ask you, has she come and seen any of your plays?
I don't think she has. Well, she's not in this area either, so it might be difficult
Okay.
for her to get down here. But yeah, I don't think she's ever come to see one of the things that I've done. I could be wrong. Maybe she sat in the audience and I don't know about it.
No, but let's invite her then. Or she's not in the area. Where is she?
She's in Boone a lot of the
Okay.
time, I think. So yeah.
So let's invite her to Legally Blonde if you're listening.
Okay.
But
I'd love
then,
that.
so in college then, so you got back into the acting. Was that the acting bug then you got into college?
I really loved being on stage, of course, but also just learning about how to teach this to kids. And I took directing, and I was like, oh no, this is where this is what I love. It's creative. I love being able to share my vision with people, and then to see that vision come alive on stage is just it's everything. I love it.
Well, it's funny you said that because you said you were introverted, and what I know of you, I don't see you as being introverted.
No.
But what's cool, so then you went to college and you were still acting some, or then directing, or when did you start directing?
So I started directing through my job, through teaching at Rugby. So they had a theater program there, but it was kind of a part-time. The teacher who was there before me taught just I think 7th and 8th grade theater, and then she also taught like home ec. And so when I got there, they made me full time. So I was able to teach all the grade levels. And then I thought, well, I want to do a play. And why hasn't anybody done a play for with these middle school kids? And so I asked my principal, and out of his own pocket, he gave me the money to do Annie Jr. from MTI. And we put that on. And this is a great story. So that was my very first play there, the first play that I directed other than in college, and one of the orphans is now my choreographer, Elizabeth Kramer. She was a student in my very first play, and my very second play at Rugby Middle School was Bugsy Malone Jr. And the bad guy in that is now the good guy in this play.
Oh, who is it?
His name is Jamie Gorsuch.
Is that cool? By the way, giving a shout out. The principal, is he still around?
He is not. No.
Okay. But anyway, that would be great to. Is he alive?
His name is. Oh, I don't know. I've lost touch with him, but I know he went to Polk County, and he was a principal down there for a while. But his name was Hank Utz.
Okay, but what you mentioned was just such a beautiful thing that he did. Let's give a shout out. We just mentioned his name, but let's try to dig him up because I'd love to see that we were talking about him.
Yes.
Which is so nice because people can make a difference in your life, and so if he hadn't taken the money out of the pocket, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing now. I think
that's right. And because of him, our theater program has grown. I mean, we sustain ourselves now. Like this program sustains itself.
And I'm almost shaking hearing about this because how often do you hear schools at beyond college have theater programs and have theater programs, and you're a full-time teacher of theater there?
I am.
Wow. And so that's all you teach there?
That's it.
That,
25 years.
I mean, I'm shaking my head. I can't believe I'm hearing a public school teacher and they still have, theater and it's still ongoing. That is amazing. So it's talking amazing. So you do that in the school level, but in your spare time, then what is it? When you're not teaching, you're directing and acting elsewhere?
Yes, I try to. Yes. I so 2 years ago, I did the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, which was a bucket list item for me to direct here at Hendersonville Theater. And then I applied to do Legally Blonde because I love the music, I love the story. It's girl power, but it's also um, it's not about finding yourself; it's about uncovering who's already there. And I just think it's a really beautiful, strong story. And
Right.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I was just thinking back to Putnam Spelling Bee, and I loved it. And I have to give a shout out. I was just in touch with him on Facebook today. The guy, he's not in the area anymore. He went back to South America.
Oh, yeah, Juan, yes.
What was he great in that? It's loved his performance in that. I'm sorry he's not in this area anymore.
Yeah.
But even though I'd seen it a bunch of times, I just love the production. It was a lot of fun. And anything you do, Heather, I was telling you off the air, it's just I don't know how you do it, but they're memorable performances. Putnam Spelling Bee I'd seen too many times, but I
Mhm.
loved it. Godspell I had seen too many times when you did it at Brevard. What was the other Urinetown I'd seen too many times. But no, you have a capability, you sort of have them come alive again or something. So Legally Blonde, same thing too. I've seen it a bunch of times, but I can't wait to see it. Talk about you though, in terms of directing or acting. Do you have a preference?
Oh, I prefer directing for sure.
But I have seen you act in a bunch of things, haven't I?
Yeah, I do. I'm a big improv performer. I've been teaching classes actually at Hendersonville Theater for improv, and we're starting a troupe now. So I absolutely love improv. That's one of my favorite things to perform. Um, I I don't act as much as I used to when I was, I guess, younger. I was in, Odd Couple at Hendersonville Theater, the female version. You may have seen that. I don't
I'm
remember.
trying to think what I've seen. The reality though, Heather, tell the truth, is that I'll ask directors that, and almost everybody says they prefer directing to acting. The
Mhm.
truth is you don't have to memorize the whole so
That's
let me
true.
but you say that we're kidding here, but have you ever directed and then had to come in
Yeah.
to take over role?
Yes, I have actually at Hendersonville Theater. It was a it was a it was a thriller. I can't remember the name of it, but I directed it and acted in it. And I will not do and it was the main role. It was the evil girl. And I won't do it again because it was I don't feel like I was able to bring 100% to either
Sure.
part, like if I had been able to just direct, I would have made different choices for the actors. But if I was just acting, I think the performance would have been stronger. It's difficult to do both.
But the worst, though, I'm wondering if this ever happened to you, where at the last minute somebody got sick or you had to take over at the last minute. Have you ever had to do that?
I have never had to take over. I have had my stage manager step in that case. Actually, for my students, I've had to have that happen and have someone else take the place of another student within 2 days of opening night.
One of the funniest TV shows, name's escaping me, but it's when Jim Parsons was in Big Bang Theory, and then the kid version. You know who I'm talking
Oh,
about?
Young Sheldon.
Young Sheldon. You have to find this. So they went to doing Young Sheldon, and Jason Alexander was the director, but
Mhm.
Young Sheldon got nervous. He wouldn't do the part. So Jason Alexander had to step in as Annie. And it's one of the funniest roles, I've ever seen. You can imagine it. He's a
Yeah.
40-year-old, 50-year-old guy playing
Yeah.
Annie, but the show must go on.
Hmm.
So talk about the show must go on. How do you said you've always liked Legally Blonde. You've seen it before.
I have heard the music. I have seen bits and pieces. I've never seen it on stage. So yeah, it's I think that's one of the things that drew me to this particular one is being able to to see it live, to actually have that experience with it live.
By the way, is that something you try to do? And I'll ask you in general, if you're going to direct a show or even be in a show, do you like to see it beforehand or would you rather not see it beforehand?
Um, it differs. With Spelling Bee, I had seen it twice live,
Right.
once in New York, and once in Chicago, and just fell in love with it. But then I I chose not to watch online any other productions of it because I didn't want to inadvertently steal someone's idea, like another director's idea for blocking or what their vision might have been. Plus, I had very strong feelings of what it my vision would be. For this one, I watched a bit, just to kind of, especially because this is a big show. There are people everywhere and there are dogs and I mean, it is just a huge undertaking. And Hendersonville Theater's stage is quite small.
I was going to say
And
that, yeah.
yeah, and so having to navigate that, I wanted ideas like how can we stage this number? What's going to make sense here? So we are doing some really creative things with the set. We have just it's just going to be unlike anything you've seen at Hendersonville Theater before.
Have you ever done shows with dogs before?
Not real dogs.
Okay.
I've done Annie, and we used a person. It was Annie Jr. And we, at besides the one at my school, I also did my first directing experience at Hendersonville Little Theater 20 years ago. We did Annie Jr. and we actually used a little girl as the
All
dog.
right.
Yeah. So, but this one we have two live dogs. We have Claire, who is going to be playing Bruiser, and she is a gray poodle. And she's just the cutest thing I've ever seen. She is just precious. And then we have Toonie. I'll
Oh,
show
very
you.
cool.
This is Toonie. And Toonie is playing Rufus, who is Paulette's dog.
Okay, so there on the show itself, I forgot there are two dogs in the show
Yes.
itself. Okay,
Yes.
wow, two separate dogs. Now
Mhm.
I'm curious. So you showed we met Toonie. Did you have to audition him or
Oh no, because I'm the director and she's
Oh,
mine, and so
oh,
she just gets in.
wait, she's your dog?
Yes, Toonie is my dog.
Oh, is that cool? So is this the first time you've ever involved Toonie in a
Yes.
show?
Yes.
Okay, and is she excited?
She is. She loves it. It's like she was born for the stage. I don't know.
Oh, that
She
is
gets it from me.
too funny. Okay, very excited to meet Toonie, who I haven't met before. So we're talking about the show. You and I know the show, but for the few people out there, and there are probably a bunch of people who don't know the show, can you give me kind of the Reader's Digest version of the show, keeping it to under an hour? Can we?
Sure.
Okay,
Yes, I can
okay,
totally do that.
okay. The show
Uh,
is what?
This is Legally Blonde, the musical, and it is based on the movie Legally Blonde with Reese Witherspoon. So if you remember that from way back when, hilarious comedy. This blonde Malibu chick goes off to Harvard to be a lawyer because she's chasing this guy that she thinks she's in love with. And it's about her finding or uncovering herself from all of what everybody thinks about her, peeling back those layers, that she's not just blonde, she's not some blonde bimbo, um, but that she really is this smart, worthy individual. And it's a really fun show. Lots of fun, upbeat music, big dance numbers.
And we're
Really good.
talking about too, but it also has something to it. It's especially the story itself.
Yes.
The what was so great about it, so I saw the movie. I'm trying to think. I must have seen the movie first, then the musical came afterwards.
Yeah.
The other follow-ups were terrible. Legally Blonde, not shows, but the movie Legally Blonde. Didn't they have a Legally Blonde too?
They did.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't see that
Okay,
one.
you didn't miss it, but it was terrible. But Legally Blonde was so great. And Cynthia and I, my wife, we were talking about this the other day. Are there any? So this movie became a show, musical.
Musical.
Waitress, a movie became the show. Is it ever in reverse? Does that show ever become a movie?
Yeah, Wicked actually is coming out, and it was first a book
Right.
and then the show, and now it's going to be the movie.
Okay, but it's more typically, right, a show will become a
Yes,
movie.
it's definitely usually the movie becomes the musical.
But here's the question: what was so cool about Legally Blonde is it wasn't a musical, but it was a drama, a comedy, and it
Right.
became a musical. Are there ever, um, I guess, musicals? Wicked, you said as an example, but it's you don't see that often. And it's a shame because for some reason you can't see musicals, the original. I'd rather, no offense to seeing a show, I'd rather see the Broadway show being like Waitress. I just love. Did you see the musical version
No,
on?
I haven't. No.
Oh, it's brilliant. So you've never seen Waitress?
Mm-mm.
But they made a movie of it. But the show, how come they don't do that more often? They don't take shows and put them out there.
It probably has something to do with money.
Well, yeah, I guess. But I'm saying it's such a shame because Legally
It is.
Blonde, I would have loved to have seen the show, but I'm actually see your version of it. So the show itself, you mentioned to me off the air. Now, how many people in this cast?
We have 33 and two dogs.
That's a pretty big cast, right?
Pretty big.
And then we have musicians floating around also.
Yes. Yeah, we have a keyboardist and a drummer, and it's gonna be
And,
crazy.
and we'll also give a shout out to, you also have a musical director too helping you with this?
Yeah, Chuck Taft. He is. I've worked with him on a couple of other shows, and he is just fabulous to work with. Yeah.
So to get the 32 people, I won't have you mention the whole cast, but you can just mention some of the folks, because again, if you know West North Carolina theater, you're going to recognize some of these names. But your lead is who in this?
Our leads are playing Elle is Morgan Miller.
Okay. Oh, the best. I just love Morgan, right?
She's just amazing. Oh, I love her. She's such a wonderful actress, but she's also really open to taking notes and getting feedback, and she's just so easy to work with. I just love her. Playing Warner, which is her love interest at the beginning of the show, is Mackenzie Robb. And then Emmett Forrest, who is the lawyerly student who helps her along, is Jamie Gorsuch. And then Professor Callahan, who's the big deal lawyer, is Marty Flynn.
Okay.
And then I'll mention also Paulette, who is the hairdresser, who is one of Elle's best friends in this, is played by Tiffany Boone.
Okay. I can see her being in that role.
I know.
She's just
so perfect.
terrific. I can see her. I can
Yeah.
see her in it. The talk also about the fact, and people don't realize this, but we're going to be seeing it. When's it opening up?
We open on July 18th and close August 4th.
Okay. And everybody always says this, Heather, that, get tickets soon. But this one, I will tell you to do so because already we got our tickets a couple weeks ago and they were really going fast. So you mentioned off the air, you may or may not add another performance, but it's almost a shame. It's only what, 2 weekends?
Three weeks.
Okay. Oh, we got 3 weekends in here, which is
Yes.
great. But if folks want to get tickets, how do they get them?
You can just go to www.hendersonvilletheater.org and you'll see it just pops right up, says Legally Blonde or get tickets, and you just click right on that.
Now we should mention seats. How many?
121.
Okay.
That's right.
So pretty much every seat's a good seat, but
Yeah,
they won't be available for a long time. So
that is correct.
this, everybody always says that get seats now, they're going fast. But I think I told you I tried to get seats a couple weeks ago, and even then couldn't get what I wanted, so we're going with another couple, split them up, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Very exciting. So talk also, Heather, people don't realize this. How long you've been working on this show? So you're doing it in a couple weeks. How long
Mhm.
have you been in rehearsal?
We have been in rehearsal since May 21st.
Okay, so
So that's
that's
about 8, 9 weeks.
okay. And rehearsal, how often do you rehearse?
Well, at the beginning, we were rehearsing 3 times a week, more or less. Now we're into 5 times a week,
Okay, and that's in terms of each rehearsal is how long?
3 hours,
Okay, and so people put a lot of time into this,
lots of time.
and they don't realize it. And to work for that much time and effort, the thing that makes this, I guess, also you're mentioning a choreography. So not only do you have acting, singing, but there's also choreography involved. Who's your choreographer again?
Her name is Elizabeth Kramer.
Yeah,
She is a former student of
right.
mine. Yeah. And actually, it has won a Tony Award for, yeah, for when she was at the, oh my gosh, the outdoor theater that's on the coast.
Okay, well, doesn't matter.
Okay,
Right.
well, anyway, yeah, so she is very accomplished, absolutely phenomenal teacher, choreographer, everything. She's got it all. She's wonderful.
And you mentioned choreography. I should know this, but you'll teach it to me. Um, the choreography, is that each person does different choreography, or are they told some guidelines as to how to do the choreography?
She teaches the dance
Right.
completely, and then sometimes some people are doing different things than other people. But a great deal of the time, everybody's doing the same steps. Uh, yeah.
But does she have a script she's working off of, or she invents it each
Oh no,
time?
she invents it. She completely makes it up herself.
So if somebody saw Legally Blonde here, it'd be
Mhm.
different. The dancing would be different than elsewhere.
Yes.
Okay, that's very cool. And same thing for her, I guess. Or would you encourage a choreographer to see it done elsewhere if they could?
Yeah, I'm not sure what her process is, except that she's mentioned like that she looked at one way that another group had done it that she saw online. So she probably will get ideas from other people, but it's mostly for, again, that spacing thing with the theater that we have. And she's been my choreographer before in Hendersonville Theater, so she knows the space requirements and everything. But yeah, so we have to do our research just like anybody else would do research for a role. If they were, they need to get their backstory and they need to understand the character's motivation. So that's the same kind of thing we do, just on a different level.
How difficult it is to have in 32 people on the stage. I don't know if they're all, or at any time are they all, excepting at the curtain call, I guess, but are they all dancing at one time?
Not everybody all at once, except for the very final number. So we bring them all out there at the end. And then, but I think probably we have 25 or 28 at one time on the stage. Yeah.
It's a lot of people.
Yes, it is.
The the show itself, who is it geared for? What would you say would be the age range of people who should see this?
I would say 12 and up. Um, there's some mild language in it. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think teenagers would definitely enjoy this. And then yeah, adults will love it.
And naturally, I have to ask you, how about dogs? Do dogs love it as
Oh,
well?
dogs will absolutely love it.
Now, is your dog at every performance and rehearsal, or just some of them?
So far she's just been coming to the rehearsals where we've been blocking her scenes that she's in. But starting tonight, she'll be at every one because she's in everything that we're doing from now on.
Is she really? And had she ever acted before?
She has not. No.
So
This
just
is her debut.
some see the show debut. After this show is over, do you have anything upcoming?
I am actually directing Matilda Jr. at my school in November. So we'll have that performance in November. And I'm going to be teaching another improv class at Hendersonville Theater. And I'm just going to stay as busy as possible, I think.
And so if folks want to track you down, we'll talk about the two ways they can track you down. One, if you could again mention the Hendersonville website is what?
Okay. It's hendersonvilletheater.org.
Okay, and they can find out about the improv class when it comes up and other
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
And then you're also, can people follow you if they want on Facebook or Instagram or?
Yeah, my Instagram is Dragon Lady Fender or dragon.lady.fender. Yeah, that's what my students call me. So
What do they call you?
Dragon Lady Fender.
What do they call you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a compliment or?
It is now. It wasn't when I first started.
Dragon Lady. Oh my goodness. So does it follow you on Instagram, Dragon Lady?
Fender.
What? Fender.
Yes.
And are you on Facebook as well?
Yes, and that's just Heather Fender. Mm-hmm.
Oh, we didn't keep the Dragon Lady there.
No,
as
not
well?
on that one.
Okay. Well, anyway, Heather, as always, thank you for being my guest. I'll encourage people to see this show because again, both the size of the cast and the talent you have in the cast, and if you're involved in it, it's going to be great because again, not to keep complimenting you, but anything you've been in, I've enjoyed. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And I also like to thank my producer, Cappy Tassetti, and hopefully we'll see you in person live in a couple of weeks.
Sounds great.
Heather, be well. Thanks again.
Bye.